So, good morning, friends. Today we are going to start our new subject microprocessor and peripheral interfacing. I hope you know some few things about the microprocessor. Today we are going to learn this microprocessor and peripheral interfacing subject throughout the semester. So, now the first question arises, why we are going to learn this subject? Because without knowing does not without knowing the subject, or why you are learning this subject, still you are not getting the interest in that subject. So today we are going to see why we are looking, or we are going to learn this microprocessor subject. So first thing in your mind comes, actually, where this microprocessor is involved. Okay, so I will give the very simple example that in your hand now you are watching this video. It is a in a mobile phone. So how this mobile phone is working? So this mobile phone is working on microprocessor. It's very simple. Now wherever is the programming involved, keep in the mind what I am saying. Wherever is the programming involved, there is a microprocessor. Now you can say, suppose there is a fan or tube light. Is there any microprocessor? Obviously not, because there is not any programming involved. You can directly switch off, or you can switch on. Okay, so directly the fan is on or off. Even you can think about the tube light. There is no any rocket science. You just switch off the button or switch on the button, so tube light is getting on or off. But you can see in your mobile phone, you are using a different apps. You can using the YouTube's, WhatsApp, or different apps. In that apps, so there is some programming is involved. You are sending the message, so there is in the background some programming is involved, and this task is done by the microprocessor. So simple in your mind, keep in your mind, wherever is the programming involves, there is a microprocessor. Now today we are going to learn introduction of microprocessor. This is our first lecture. Okay, so initially we are going to start this subject today itself. So we are going to learn today the introduction of microprocessor. So before going to the introduction, I want to share so many things about the microprocessor. So first we'll see how the evolution of microprocessor happens. Okay, so now currently in your laptop you are using the most recent this processor is Intel Core i7. Okay, so you are thinking, we are going to what we are going to learn. So we are going to learn the family of 80. So there is a first, you can see here, 8086. So before that there is a 4004. Okay, so there is a very initial in 1971 this microprocessor was used. After that they came with the 8008. Then after comes at 8085. Okay, so now you can see 8085, which is used very earlier in the 1974, or you can say 1982. So afterward is come 8086, we can say 8086. Now this 8086 we are going to learn in this subject. But now in your mind there will be a question. Now we are learning, or we are using Intel Core i7, i5, or i3. Why are we going to learn this old version of this processor, that is 8086? But when you are going to learn anything which is very vast or which is very advanced, first you have to go for the basic of that. Okay, you can directly not learn the advanced thing if you don't know the basic. So for that purpose you have to learn the very basic processors. So we are going to learn the first basic processor, 8086. Okay, so I will tell you how they can evolve, or how the Intel, now we are using i3 i7. Okay, core i3 i7. There is a, before that there is a Pentiums also. Okay, so now we are using, now you can see there is a, after 8086 there is 80286, 80386, 80486, and now 80586, which involves the Pentium 1, Pentium 2, Pentium 3, Pentium 4. Okay, so Pentium 5. So sorry, till now we are using in Pentium 5. So now you can see in the earlier, in 1989 or 1997, there is, for PC, or you can say the computer is just used for the boring things. Okay, but when there is involve of the 80586, there is a Pentium processor, then it's come to know that there will be a use of this processor, or sorry, the computers can be used for watching the movies, okay, watching the videos. Okay, so after some days there will be some interesting things come across this PC. So now we are learning this Pentium, sorry, we are using this now, the Pentium or Core i3 processors or i7 processors, i5. Okay, but now we are going to learn the older version, or we are going to learn the basics of 8086, that is a microprocessor we are going to learn. Okay, now so you can see here evaluation of microprocessor. Just a minute, let me check these slides. Okay, okay, just a minute. Okay, so now we are going to see which things we are going to learn this chapter, that is the block diagram of computer system. So exactly what is the computer? The basic component of the computer system using a block diagram, that is the different components is having the CPU computer, that is the CPU, memory, and the input output devices. Then the evaluation of microprocessor, that already we have seen. Okay, then there is a, what is the data. Okay, what are the different data size, fetching and execution of the cycles. Okay, so defining topics we are going to learn in the next lecture. Okay, so now you come in your mind, there will be a, what is the computer, okay, or what is the input output devices, which are the input output devices. Okay, you are not the child, I know you, you all know the things. Okay, so first we are going to see the computer is a programmable machine that receives the input, stores and manipulate data, information, and provide output as a useful format. Now you can see how, or we can see which are the input devices for the computer, that is mouse and keyboard are the input devices. Why we are called them as the input devices? Because they are giving the input to the computer. So if you press 1, it 1 is entered by the keyboard and is given to the central processing unit. Okay, so mouse, if you click, so we are just giving the input from these two devices. Now which are the output devices? Now the monitor and the printer are the output devices. Why these are called as output devices? Because when you press the 1, it is displayed on the monitor, means it shows the output. Okay, if you given the print, then printer gives the print of that particular document. So what is the meaning of this? It gives the output. Okay, so these are nothing but the programmable machine that receive the input and store and manipulate the data, information, and provide output as a useful format. Now you can see the heart of the PC is the CPU, that is the central processing unit. Okay, when you press 2 plus 2, the command goes to the processing, that is CPU unit, and that CPU display that output to the monitor, that is 2 plus 2 into 4. Okay, now we, here is the diagram of computer system, that is very simple diagram, that is you all know this is in the picture they have shown keyboard, mouse, speaker, system unit, screen, monitor. Okay, so these are nothing but the different devices of the computer system. Now we are going to learn the block diagram of basic computer system. So why we are going to learn this? Because you all know what is the microprocessor actually does. Okay, so you can see the basic block diagram of the computer system. There is a CPU, ROM, RAM, input output interface, input output devices. Okay, now I have learned, or I told you about the input output devices in the last few minutes ago. So which are the input output devices? The monitor and the mouse are the input devices, and printer and monitor are the output devices. Now you can think about the memory. Okay, so memory come under the ROM and RAM. There is a random access memory and read only memory. Okay, so all these are communication through done through the buses. Now you can say, what is the bus? Bus is nothing but which carries the information from one devices to the other device. There is nothing but there are two types of bus: address bus and data bus. So we are come, and there are three types: address bus, data bus and control bus. Okay, so we are come in the detail later slides about the buses. Okay, now there is a CPU. CPU is nothing but the central processing unit. So whatever the input, output, commands, everything is given to the CPU, and CPU execute the program, perform the operation, and giving the output on the particular devices. Now you can see what is the ROM and RAM. So in the next slides I will explain you one by one all the devices. Now here is the basic component of microcomputer. So it is nothing but the CPU, that is I already told you, that is a central processing unit, the portion of computer system that carries out the instruction of a computer program. Okay, so it is nothing but what? It carries out the instruction of computer program. So whatever the instruction is going to execute, that is processed, or you can say carried out by the computer. So the primary element carrying out the computer's function, it is the unit that reads and execute the program instruction. Okay, so it read and execute the program instructions and display the particular or particular output on the monitor, or particular it perform the particular operation. So data in the instruction tell the processor what to do. Okay, so Pentium D dual core processor you have shown here in the diagram. So exactly the data in the instruction tells what the processor what to do. Okay, so now the question come into the next point, that is the memory. So now the memory is what? So it is a very important part of the device, memory. Now right now, whenever you are going to buy the mobile, what you see in the mobile, what is the memory? Okay, so you can see 6 GB RAM and 24 GB, or sorry 64 GB internal memory. So we are very much interesting in a RAM. Okay, very much interested in the RAM, that is a random access memory. Okay, so we are going to learn here what is the RAM and ROM. So physical device used to store the data or program, that is called as a sequence of instructions on a temporary or a permanent basis for use in a electronics digital computer. Okay, so few information is stored for a temporary and few information used to store very permanently. So it depends on, we are dividing this RAM and ROM. Suppose computer main memory comes into two principal varieties, that is I already told you, that is a random access memory and read only memory. Okay, so RAM can be read and write to any time the CPU commands, but ROM is preloaded with the data and software that never change, so the CPU can only read from it. Okay, so ROM is only ROM is preloaded with the data and software that never changes, so the CPU can only read and write. So I will give the very simple example of ROM. Suppose, so there is a operating system. Operating system is having some program, okay, which is written in different languages. So suppose the C is the program. Operating system is a program. When you start your PC, or you can say the laptop, so it takes some time. So why it takes some time? Okay, so whenever that program, or we can say the operating system, which is stored in the hard disk, which come or which is loaded into the ROM. Okay, so this ROM is used for storing that operating system, or you can say the some softwares or you can say the data. Okay, now when you shutting down that PC, it is not directly shut down like a TV. It has takes it used to take some time, because that operating system of into the which is stored into the RAM, which is again get stored into the hard disk. Okay, so this is nothing but the ROM. So ROM is typically used to store the computer initial startup instruction that I already explained you. Now what is a RAM? So in general, the context of the RAM are erased when the power to the computer is turned off, but ROM retains the data indefinitely. Okay. So RAM means what? When you are using the, suppose there is a 4 GB RAM. When you are using the different softwares, so the softwares which is get fetched into that RAM. Okay. So that RAM, after you closing that app, or you can say the software, again the RAM is get erased. Okay, so RAM is nothing but the so RAM can be read and write. Okay, so this is what the difference between RAM and ROM. Now we can going to learn what is the input output unit. So input output unit refers to the communication between an information processing system such as a computer and the outside world, possibly a human or another information processing system. So inputs are the signal or a data received by the system, and outputs are the signal or data sent from it. So suppose monitor, we are sending the, sorry, the keyboard, we are sending the data, or you can signal. Okay, so and outputs are signal data from sent from it. Okay, now devices that provide input or output to the computer are called peripherals. Okay, devices that provide inputs or output to the computer are called peripherals. On a typical personal computer, peripheral includes input devices like the keyboard and the mouse. Okay, output devices such as the display, so we can say the monitor, printer, hard disk drives, floppy disk drives, and optical disk drives. So both input and output devices, the computer networking is another from input output. Okay, so I already learned the evaluation of microprocessor. Now I want to ask one question. Okay, if you want to save a data, okay, suppose there is a pen drive and you are going to save a data. If you save one song, do you can you exactly tell me where is this songs saved in a pen drive, or how it can be saved in a pen drive? Okay, so it can be saved by ones and zeros, not so that pen drive doesn't know it is a song, video or movie or whatever. It just understand the language of binary. Okay, ones and zeros. It don't know it has a movie, or it is an image, or it is a video. It just know it is a one and zero. It is a sequence of one and zero. So you want your any storing device, you can say the hard disk, or you can say pen drive, CD, floppy, anything. Okay, so the storing device don't know what you are going to save. Okay, so you know you are going to save the image, or you are going to save the song, or you can going to save the video, but the that the storing device don't know it. Everything is stored in the binaries, ones and zeros. Okay, so there is one process which convert into the whatever the signal is converted into binary sequence one and zeros, and it is get stored. Again it recovers. Again there is a program when one and zeros come into the brings into the uh, analog signals, that is an image, video or whatever. Okay, so exactly what is the data size? So nibble. So when there is a 4 bits, that is called as a nibble. So you can see in the diagram there is a range 0 to 15. So 4 bit start from 0 1 2 3 4. So you can write, so n is a 0 to 3, there are the levels. So there are total 4 bits, so you can having the different range level of 15 levels. So 0 is go up to 0 to 15. So next there is a byte. Okay, so what is a byte? Byte is nothing but the 4 bit. So in the digital electronics, I think you know all the things, what is the bits, bytes. Okay, so still I will explain you again. So what is the 8 bit? So 8 bit is nothing but 0 to 7 bits. Okay, so you can see the sign bit, lower nibble, upper nibble. Okay, so there are different 255 range. So it level up to 0 to 255. So total there are 256 levels. Now next of the byte there is a word. So 16-bit word is nothing but you can vary. There are total different 16 bits. So it has a range of 0 to 65,535. And the next word is next data size is a long word, that is a 32-bit. Okay. So most of the time right now you have the operating system 64-bit, 32-bit. So this microprocessor is, that is nothing but your microprocessor of 64-bit. So in the older 8086 there are very small 8 bits or 4-bit microprocessors. Right now there are a 64-bit microprocessor. So for today's lecture we are learn the basics of microprocessor and why we are going to learn this microprocessor subject. And there is another topic, peripheral interfacing, means keyboard. Okay, so LCD, LED, how you can interfacing with the microprocessor, that we are going to learn in the further lectures. So I think this is enough for today's topic, data size and introduction of the microprocessor. We are going to see this video on a YouTube. Whenever you have any doubts about this topic, you can write your comments, write your doubts in the comment box. So I will definitely solve you. Okay, so thank you very much.